Now, I'm using Gorilla Glue, an excellent polyurethane glue. Wherever there was a dado cut across the grain, or a groove cut along the grain. And what I do is I only put glue in the captive part of the joint, the socket. I use an acid brush just to spread it out. And the neat thing about this glue is it expands when it comes in contact with water and cures, and it's super durable, super strong. Now, it also bonds with any of the glues that were used to bond the plywood together. So, I've got all the joints sized with Gorilla Glue. Now, what I'm going to do is contrary to what most people think about when you do a glue up. I'm going to moisten every part of the joint that has Gorilla Glue in it and the mating piece that I'm going to put into the socket. As you look at this assembly, you'll see the bottom board right here of the case. And once I do this glue up, this entire case will go onto the base. But we can't do that yet because the first part of this glue up process is to assemble the 5 parts you see here. Here we go. Just like that. Easing everything in, keeping it flush. And another excellent property of this glue is that I've got about half an hour of open time, which makes it nice because now I can adjust things. Looking good, but you do want to move out. So I got that just lightly clamped in. Here comes the middle fixed shelf, just like that. Okay, now I can't put those spacers in until I get this drawn tight. Okay, that rubber mallet. Nope, that's good. I was going to say the rubber mallet might be required, but that's a good fit. Just a little bit of bend in that plywood. Looking good. And of course, once I get this drawn together and the spacers in, I'll flip it over and I'll show you how we put the backboard on. It's kind of different. And now I'll just use my drill and some screws and a countersink bit to screw this onto the back, right into the plywood. I've taken the clamps off. This is cured for about 2 hours, so I know it's dry now. And here's the base. Here's the front of the base. I'll flip it over since the front of the bookcase is pointing down right now. And what I've done, I have a mark on here that I can line up to, and I pre-drilled one pilot hole, and I can fasten all of this together. But there's one thing I want to do, a bead of good glue here, and that will never come off. That's all it takes to hold that base assembly securely there. You know, books add up in weight. We want to make this solid. Okay, looking good. Line everything up. Secure the base to the bottom, and once this is done, I'll secure the top workpiece to the top of the bookcase cabinet. We're in the final stretch on this project. We have 4 trim pieces to put on per side. These 3 rails, and then this applied back style. Now, look at this. See these thin work pieces? Well, this is an easy job to do at the bandsaw with the resaw fence. Once I have all the work pieces that I need to trim out this assembly, I use yellow wood glue, and I'm going to do what's called a rub joint. I spread this glue out with a scrap block, just like that. And immediately, the 3-inch workpiece goes right up at the top. And what I do is I rub that back and forth, and I hold that in place securely for about 2 minutes. And believe it or not, that's all it takes when the boards are flat like this to trim it out. In fact, that one's there to stay already. These are the type of shelf supports that I really like. They just fit in those 1/4 inch diameter holes that we drilled earlier, and I have corresponding supports over here. And these are the 3 adjustable shelves. One right in the middle, down below. That fits right in like that. And I've opted not to drill a series of holes to make these adjustable because I just did not want to move them up and down, see the unsightly holes on the interior. But that's a choice that you can make when you build this. Well, that's how this project comes together from the woodworking end. But there's still one thing that has to be done, and that's finishing. So be sure to go to the finishing chapter to get some great tips on how to really bring out the beauty of this workpiece.